You're not even a man. My parents were right about you, she hissed, clutching her designer purse like a trophy. You'll die broke and bitter. I stared at her from across the courtroom. No, their courtroom, as they called it, because in their twisted reality, this hearing wasn't about me. It was about how her parents' empire had crumbled under debt and delusion, how the house they paraded around in like royalty was now the centerpiece of a bankruptcy scandal. And yet, somehow, I was still the disgrace in the room. Her name was Courtney, and at that exact moment, sitting in front of the judge, I finally let go of the man I had been trying to be for her family, for their approval that never came. I cleared my throat. Your Honor, I said. Before we continue, I believe it's important to clarify something about the property in question. Courtney's father, Douglas, whipped his head around, confusion warping his red face. Her mother, Cheryl, looked ready to scream. The judge motioned for me to speak. The mansion at 621 Foxgrove Lane, I continued, my voice steady, was purchased outright in 2019 under a holding company. That company is owned solely by me. The money used to buy it came from a private inheritance I received when my grandfather passed. Approximately $70 million. Gasps. Loud ones. Her mom's jaw dropped like she'd seen a ghost. Courtney stood up, so fast her chair toppled behind her. You're lying, she snapped. I turned to face her. You really think I'd sit through 4 years of this circus just to bluff now? Silence swallowed the room. You'd think that was the peak moment, right? The part where justice struck and the dirt got wiped clean? But no, that was only the curtain rising. Let me rewind this for you. I wasn't born rich. I became rich overnight when my grandpa, a man I barely knew but who admired my work ethic, left everything to me. But I didn't change. I didn't go off buying yachts or splashing headlines. I stayed grounded. Because I wanted to see something. If Courtney loved me, not the bank account. Spoiler, she didn't. The shift started small. She began mocking my job, graphic design, freelance, not flashy but steady. You really think logos will pay the bills? She'd sneer while ordering another $200 sushi platter with her friends. She and her parents started planning vacations without me, whispering about grown-up decisions I didn't need to be a part of. They built a life where I was the doormat with a smile. But I was documenting everything. I played dumb. I forgot the passwords to bank accounts. I couldn't afford private jets or Rolexes. Courtney rolled her eyes. Cheryl started calling me that boy in front of their rich neighbors. Douglas laughed one night while drunk and told me I was lucky his daughter settled for someone beneath her. And through it all, I smiled. Until one day, I stopped. That was the day I found her phone. It wasn't even hidden, just lying on the bed, unlocked, while she showered. At first, I wasn't looking for anything. But a name caught my eye. Travis. A gym trainer. I clicked. The texts made my stomach flip inside out. Can't wait to be with you again. He's such a loser. You make me feel alive, not like when I'm with that wet rag. He still thinks I'm in love with him, LMAO. My heart wasn't just broken. It was insulted. I had played the fool, hoping I'd be wrong. Hoping she'd been influenced, pressured by her parents, lost in a lifestyle. But those messages? They were her truth. Unfiltered, savage, and gloating. The worst part? I still hoped there was a mistake. That maybe she'd explain it away. Maybe there was some twisted game I didn't understand. But no, that same night, she came home late, hair damp like she'd just showered at someone else's place. She didn't notice my expression. She didn't see the rage. She just walked in, tossed her shoes, and said, "You better wash your dishes. My mom's coming over tomorrow, and she hates clutter." I nodded, quietly, calmly, because I had a plan now. And that plan, it would explode on the day of their bankruptcy hearing, when I stood up and revealed I'd owned the damn house this whole time. That everything they bragged about was mine, and I let them rot in their illusion. But what came next? That was worse. Because Travis, he wasn't just some fling. He was living in the guest house, and she'd been paying him with my money. I remember the moment I walked out of that courtroom. Everyone was still frozen in shock, but Courtney, she chased me out into the hallway like she was the one betrayed. "You psycho. You let us think we were helping you. You lied to me." I turned around slowly. "No, Courtney. I never lied. I just never corrected your fantasy." Her face twisted, that kind of spoiled princess rage where reality didn't match the movie in her head. She raised her hand to slap me. I saw it coming, but didn't flinch. She stopped just short, her fingers shaking in the air. "You embarrassed my family," she whispered. That's when I laughed. Actually laughed. The kind of deep laugh that comes out when you realize you're finally done pretending. Her phone had been burning a hole in my pocket all day. I hadn't returned it after reading those messages. I'd made copies, screenshots, even video screen recordings of the chats. Not just with Travis. There were more. Alec, some club promoter in Miami. Jordan, a crypto guy who promised her she could be the next influencer if she put in work. Her idea of work wasn't hard to figure out. And yeah, they weren't just dirty messages. She sent them photos, things I can't even say without feeling sick, and voice notes where she mocked me, called me pathetic, said I was only good for buying stuff. But that was just part of it. What broke me wasn't the betrayal of the flesh. It was the betrayal of trust, of time, of loyalty. We'd been together 7 years. I'd met her when I was still a broke college kid flipping burgers and designing band posters for $50. She said she loved how humble I was, said I was real. But what she meant was that I was easy to mold, easy to control, easy to discard when someone shinier came along. It didn't happen overnight. It was slow poison. She started traveling more. Spa weekends with her mom. Girls' nights that ended with her coming home at 3 a.m., smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. She stopped looking me in the eyes during conversations. She started laughing too loud at her phone, then quickly locking it. But I ignored it. Because love makes you stupid. I confronted her once, months before the courtroom explosion. Just a small one. I asked, "Are you happy with me?" She blinked, caught off guard, then shrugged. "I mean, yeah, you're stable. Stable. Not loved. Not respected. Just stable. Like a shelf. Or a damn thermostat." That night, I didn't sleep. I started watching. Listening. I installed cameras, hidden ones, outside the house, in the garage, even one in the living room air vent. I started tracking her credit card charges. Uber rides to hotels. Venmo payments to random guys with emojis as notes. One guy even left a pair of boxers on our bathroom floor. She blamed the cleaning lady. By the time I had the full picture, I'd already contacted my lawyer. I had everything documented, time-stamped, cross-referenced. I didn't want revenge. Not at first. But then I walked into the guest house one day, quiet, unannounced. Travis was there, shirtless, drinking my scotch, watching my TV. And Courtney? She came out of the shower, wrapped in a towel, saw me standing there, and had the nerve to say, "You can't just barge in here." It was my property. "I wanted to tell you," she muttered. "But I figured you'd overreact." To what? The trainer I paid for stretching out on my couch while my wife plays house with him. She didn't answer, just walked past me like I didn't exist. That was it. That was the day I turned cold. I stopped pretending. I set the courtroom plan in motion. I let her and her parents believe they were buying the house from an anonymous seller. I watched them take out massive loans, use my money as if it were theirs, talk down to me while spending cash they hadn't earned. And then I waited. Waited for the bankruptcy hearing. Waited for the truth to detonate in their smug faces like a nuke. But even I wasn't ready for what happened next. Because that night, after the hearing, she didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She came home drunk, mascara running, heels in her hand, and slurred. "You're a manipulative piece of sh*t. No wonder I needed someone else to feel alive." Then she stumbled into the bedroom, passed out on our bed, and started snoring. I sat on the couch all night, staring at the wall, staring at the person I used to love, wondering how I'd missed all the signs. But the next morning, that was when everything changed, because I woke up to find her gone. And the safe, where I kept my inheritance documents, my IDs, and my last remaining tie to my grandfather, was wide open. Empty. I didn't panic right away. I told myself maybe she just needed to cool off. Maybe she went to Cheryl's place, or took one of her spa breaks where she pretended she was a celebrity being chased by paparazzi. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. My gut was twisting itself into knots. The safe wasn't just empty, it had been ransacked. The papers weren't neatly removed. They were torn, shoved aside, one corner of a folder ripped off like someone was in a hurry. The key was still in the lock, dangling. I checked my phone. No messages. No missed calls. No notifications. Just one Venmo alert. She had sent Travis another $400. I called her. Straight to voicemail. Then I called Cheryl. "She's not here," Cheryl snapped, cold as always. "Whatever drama you caused yesterday, You can keep it on your side of the property line. You sure she's not there? Why would she be? She said you were the one losing your mind. Don't drag her down with you. I hung up without another word. That's when I checked the bank. $8,000 transferred out of the joint account. Then another $6,000. Then $12,000 to something called Coastal Management Group. I froze. That's the name of the holding company I used when I bought the mansion. But no one outside my lawyer and I were supposed to know that. Unless she had gotten into the files. My private records. The ones that showed exactly how much I had and where it was. I felt it like a punch to the chest. She was trying to take it. And she wasn't doing it alone. I checked the guest house. Travis was gone. All his gym bags, his protein powder, his cologne that smelled like battery acid, all of it gone. No note. No goodbye. Not even a screw you text. I pulled up the security cams. 3 hours earlier, at 3:24 a.m., she'd left with 2 suitcases and a black duffel bag. Travis was with her. They kissed in the driveway. She tossed her wedding ring into the bushes. Then they got into my Mercedes and drove off. By noon I was at my lawyer's office. He took one look at me and said, "They're going for the accounts, aren't they?" I nodded. "Everything. Good thing we moved it last week." That was the one bright light in this tunnel of betrayal. A week before the court hearing, I'd followed my gut and instructed him to move the main inheritance into a new trust under a different shell company, completely disconnected from anything Courtney would have known. If she'd copied my files, she'd have old info, outdated accounts, empty shells. But she didn't know that, and neither did Travis. Still, that didn't ease the burn. This wasn't just about money. This was about humiliation. About the woman I'd woken up next to for nearly a decade, lying next to me like I meant something, all while planning a slow, calculated escape. She'd been using me, mocking me, and now she was trying to rob me blind on her way out. I went home, poured a drink I didn't even want, sat on the porch, watching the sun go down behind the hills, wondering how the hell I got here. Then my phone lit up. Blocked number. Voicemail left. I listened. It was Travis. His voice was smug. Drunk, maybe high. "Hey man, just wanted to say thanks for the Benz. Runs smooth. And Courtney? She's a lot more fun when she's not pretending to love you. You ever wonder what she sounds like when she actually enjoys herself?" Click. I crushed the glass in my hand. Blood ran down my fingers. I didn't care. That was the moment I stopped feeling sorry for myself. This wasn't heartbreak anymore. This was war. And I was done playing nice. I didn't sleep that night. My hand was throbbing, but I didn't bother wrapping it. I just sat there, blood dried on my knuckles, watching the security footage on a loop. Courtney tossing her ring into the bushes like it was trash. Travis loading the bags like he was moving into a beach house, not stealing another man's life. Every second of it burned deeper. By morning, I was already on the phone with my private investigator, Mike. "Ex-cop. No bullshit." "She's running?" he asked. "She's trying," I said. "But she's not smart. Just entitled." He laughed under his breath. "Send me everything you've got. I'll find him." While Mike got to work, I did damage control. Froze accounts. Called my lawyer again. Changed every password I'd ever used. Set up alerts on every holding, every asset. If she so much as touched anything I owned, I'd know. But what I didn't expect came 3 days later. A call from the dealership. "Hey, Mr. Walker? Just confirming. Did you authorize someone to trade in the Black S-Class under your name?" My heart dropped. "No, absolutely not." "Who brought it in?" "Some guy named Travis. Said he was your assistant. Even had your registration papers." I got the security footage from the dealership. There they were. Courtney, standing next to him, arms crossed like she owned the place, laughing at something he said. She was wearing my Rolex, the one I kept in the safe for special occasions. Her hand was on his chest like she didn't even remember my face. I sent it to Mike. His response came an hour later. "Got a hit. They're in Scottsdale. Hotel under a fake name. But the car's GPS pinged the garage. Want me to pay a visit?" "No," I said. "I'm going myself." I didn't tell anyone else. I didn't pack bags. I didn't even change clothes. I got in my backup car, an old Jeep I kept in the garage, and drove 6 hours straight, white-knuckled and wired on rage. By the time I pulled into the hotel lot, it was almost midnight. I didn't go in the front. I waited near the loading area, watching, waiting, heart pounding like a war drum. Then I saw them, coming out the side exit, arms around each other. She looked happy, relaxed, like a woman on vacation, not a woman who'd torched her entire life. He was laughing, drunk again probably, swinging a keycard in one hand and a bottle of champagne in the other. They didn't see me until I stepped into the light. Courtney froze. Travis dropped the bottle. "Miss me," I said quietly. Courtney recovered first. "What the hell are you doing here?" "I came to collect my property." "This is harassment," she snapped. "We can call the cops." "Do it," I said, stepping forward. "Let's explain to them how you tried to trade in a car you didn't own, with papers you forged, or how you stole documents from a federal inheritance trust. I've got a copy of the security footage from the dealership and from the house." She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Travis stepped in front of her. "Look, man, this is between you and her." "I didn't know." "Save it," I growled. "You knew. You were living in my house, driving my car, eating my food. You knew exactly what the hell you were doing." He took a step toward me. "Big mistake." I didn't even hesitate. One punch. Just one. Right to the jaw. He went down like a bag of bricks. Courtney screamed, dropped her purse, and ran to him like she was some devoted wife. Which would have been funny if it weren't so pathetic. "I'm pressing charges," she shrieked. I leaned down beside him, made sure he was breathing, then stood and looked her dead in the eyes. "Do it, and I'll release everything. The texts, the videos, the voice notes. Let's see how many of your daddy's friends invite you to fundraisers after that hits the internet." She stared at me, hateful, helpless, and for the first time afraid. I didn't need to press charges. I didn't need revenge anymore. Not like that. Because watching her crumble? That was the revenge. She didn't follow me when I walked away. I left Travis groaning on the pavement, one hand holding his jaw like it might fall off. Courtney sat beside him, heels in her lap, mascara smudged, hair messy, looking nothing like the goddess she always pretended to be. For once, she looked real. But real didn't mean worth saving. I drove to a motel on the edge of town. Paid in cash. Slept in my clothes. No phone, no emails, just me and the dull ache in my knuckles and the weight in my chest that wouldn't let up. I'd imagined this moment so many times, how I'd feel when I finally caught them, when I stood over the wreckage and realized I'd won. But it didn't feel like victory. It felt like mourning. I was mourning the man I used to be, the one who believed in her, the one who thought love could survive anything, that if you gave enough, sacrificed enough, forgave enough, it would all work out. I buried that man the second she smiled at Travis the way she used to smile at me. When I got back to LA, the house felt different, quieter, like even the walls were ashamed of what they'd seen. I walked through every room slowly, staring at the photos still on the walls, fake memories of real moments. Her laugh frozen in time, her hand on my chest, my arm around her waist. I took them all down, every single one. Then I found the ring, the one she threw into the bushes. Still there, half buried in mulch, dirty and scratched. I picked it up and turned it in my hand. I didn't feel pain, just a strange, dull relief. Like I'd finally closed the last page of a book I never should have opened. The next day, my lawyer filed for divorce. No negotiations. No settlements. I had the documents, the evidence, the proof. And even if she tried to fight, the court would never take her side. Mike called 2 days later. "She tried to open a new account using your name." "She's slipping," I said. "She's desperate." I knew she would be. Once the money dried up and the attention faded, she'd have nothing. Just a trail of burned bridges and a pile of luxury handbags that wouldn't pay rent. I could already see it. Her calling me 6 months from now, voice soft, pretending she was sorry, asking if we could talk. Just talk. But I wouldn't answer. She lost that privilege when she sold her dignity for a rented hotel room and a bottle of champagne. A week after I filed, I got an email from her. Subject: "You were never honest either." Body: "I don't care what you think you've won. You lied too. You pretended to be poor. You played games. So don't act like you're better than me. We both wore masks. Yours just cost more." I stared at it for a long time. She wasn't wrong. I had worn a mask. I'd hidden my wealth. I'd tested her. Played the long game. But I did it because I wanted love, not a gold digger. I wanted loyalty, not performance. She saw that as manipulation. But if someone treats you like dirt when they think you have nothing, that's who they really are. I didn't reply to her email. Instead, I sent my lawyer one final instruction: donate $1 million to a battered women's shelter in her name. Let her see that headline. The mansion? I sold it a month later. Not because I needed the money, but because I didn't want to live in the shadow of her lies. I bought a place up north. Small. Private. Mine. Travis. He tried suing me. For assault. It went nowhere. My lawyer sent his lawyer the security footage, the texts, and a list of every law they broke together. I never heard from him again. And Courtney? She went radio silent. Until I saw her again, 9 months later. She was standing outside a bar in Santa Monica. Alone. No designer bag. No glitzy dress. No Travis. She saw me. Her eyes lit up for half a second, then dimmed. She looked tired. Not just in her face, but in her soul. I nodded once. She didn't wave. And I walked away. Life got strangely peaceful after that. Not happy, not right away. But peaceful. The kind of silence that doesn't scream at you anymore. The kind that lets you breathe. I rebuilt everything from the inside out. My schedule was mine again. My days didn't revolve around fake brunches, empty parties, or pretending to be impressed with the latest pair of overpriced heels Courtney had accidentally bought with my card. I started working again. Real work. Late nights, passion projects, clients who respected me for what I actually did, not what I could buy. I even picked up painting, something I hadn't done since college. The first thing I painted was a storm over water. Violent, messy, dark. It felt honest. The hardest part wasn't missing her. It was unlearning her. There were moments when I'd wake up expecting to hear her voice, see her side of the bed cluttered with makeup, wipes, and magazines. I'd make coffee and pour 2 cups out of habit. I'd reach for the remote and hear her laugh echo in my head. Sarcastic, always condescending. But then it would fade. Every time, a little bit more. And in its place came clarity. She didn't just cheat on me with other men. She cheated on the life we were supposed to build together. On the promises. On the hours we spent dreaming about what we could become. She cashed those dreams in for validation from strangers, quick dopamine hits from secret messages, and power plays she thought would make her feel important. One night, I got a call from Cheryl. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Hello. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds. Then her voice. Dry, cracked. She's in rehab, she said. Thought you should know. I didn't say anything. She spiraled after the divorce. Spent all the money. Travis left her. We tried to help, but she trailed off. I know we weren't good to you. That made me laugh. No, Cheryl. You weren't. More silence. Then, if you ever talk to her, just try not to be cruel. I hung up. I wasn't cruel. Not once. I was stupid. Patient. Too forgiving. But not cruel. And even then, I felt something shift inside me. Not pity. Not forgiveness. Just closure. She'd made her choices. Built her cage. And now she had to live in it. A few months after that, I met someone. Not like Courtney. No heels. No fake lashes. She wore hoodies and glasses and read actual books, not just Instagram captions. Her name was Elena, and the first time we talked, it was about my dog. He liked her more than he ever liked Courtney, which should have been a red flag back then. We took it slow. I told her everything. Not the money part, not at first, but the truth about what I'd been through. She didn't flinch, just listened, quietly, the way people do when they actually care. One night, we were on the balcony of her apartment, drinking wine, watching the city lights. She asked me, "Do you hate her?" I thought about it. No, I said. I just don't think about her anymore. That wasn't completely true. I did think about Courtney sometimes. But not with rage. Not with sadness. More like how you think about a house you escaped from before it burned down. You remember the heat, the smoke, the way your lungs begged for air. And then you thank God you made it out. That's what she became to me. A warning. A lesson. And eventually, just another part of the past. We were at a farmer's market the next time her name came up. Elena and I were walking hand in hand, fresh peaches in one bag, sunflowers in the other, when a woman walked past us and did a double take. She didn't say anything, just kept walking, but her eyes lingered, long enough to register recognition. It was Kelly, one of Courtney's old friends. The kind that was always around, but never said much unless it was gossip. The kind who posted pictures with Courtney while secretly envying her. I didn't mention it to Elena at first, but a week later, I got a DM from Kelly. Hey, weird running into you. Just wanted to say, you look happier, cleaner. You dodged a bullet. Hope you know that. That message sat in my inbox for 2 hours before I replied. I know. I just wish I'd dodged it sooner. She left it at that. I didn't tell Elena about the message right away. Not because I was hiding it, but because I didn't want to bring Courtney into this new space I'd carved for myself. A space without manipulation, without the constant edge of needing to prove myself. But Elena knew anyway. That night, she turned to me in bed and asked, "You okay?" "Yeah." "You seem distant." I exhaled. I ran into one of her friends. She didn't tense up, didn't flinch. She just nodded. "You can talk about it, you know." And I did. I told her everything. More than I'd ever told anyone. About the gaslighting, the guilt tripping, the way Courtney made me question my value every day until I barely recognized myself. About the mind games with her parents. The fake smiles. The way she made me feel small, even when I was the one holding everything together. Elena just listened. And when I was done, she kissed me on the forehead and said, "That woman broke you. But you're rebuilding yourself stronger. And I'm lucky I get to watch it happen." I never cried about Courtney before. Not once. But that night I did. Because for the first time, I wasn't crying over what I lost. I was crying because I'd found peace. Months passed. The divorce was finalized. My lawyer handled the rest. Courtney didn't show up to the last hearing. Her lawyer said she was under emotional stress, which was legal speak for too ashamed to face what she's become. I heard she moved back in with Cheryl. Word was, her influencer career flopped. No more sponsored trips, no more gifted bags. Even Travis posted a reel with a new girl, captioned, "Upgrade season." Brutal. I didn't feel bad. Courtney never loved me. She loved control. Image. The idea of having a man she could shape into what she wanted, but only as long as he stayed beneath her. The moment she realized I was stronger, richer, and more grounded than her entire family combined, she panicked. And that's the thing about people like her. They don't want a partner. They want a mirror. Someone who reflects what they want to believe about themselves. Elena wasn't a mirror. She was a window. She let me see the world again. See myself again. One night, we were walking down the beach, quiet waves brushing our feet, and she asked me, "What would you say to your past self? The version of you that still thought she loved you?" I didn't even hesitate. I'd say, walk away the first time she laughs at your pain. That's the moment she shows you who she really is. Believe her. She didn't say anything after that. Just squeezed my hand. That's how healing happens. Not with big speeches or dramatic closures, but with quiet moments, kind hands, and the choice, every single day, not to let the worst version of love define you. And I made that choice, over and over again, until I didn't just survive her. I outgrew her. The last time I saw Courtney, she was waiting at a bus stop. It was raining. Her hair was tied back, no makeup, hoodie 2 sizes too big, no heels, no designer bag, just a plastic grocery sack clutched in her hand like it weighed 100 pounds. She didn't see me. I was in my car, windows up, paused at the red light across the intersection. Elena was next to me, dozing off, our dog snoring in the back seat. We were coming back from a weekend in the mountains. No signal, no stress, just fresh air and silence. I stared at Courtney for a moment. Not out of hate, not even pity, but because I barely recognized her. She looked like someone who'd bet everything on the wrong cards. And now she was standing in the cold, waiting for a ride that may or may not come. No entourage, no flash, no mask left to wear. I didn't honk, didn't roll down the window. I just looked forward, shifted into gear, and drove away when the light turned green. She became a blur in the rearview mirror. And that's where she belongs, behind me. People talk about closure like it's this big emotional conversation. Like you need to sit across from the person who broke you, pour your heart out, hear their apology, cry, hug, and move on. That's not how it works. Closure is waking up one morning and realizing you didn't think about them yesterday. It's cooking breakfast without hearing their voice in your head. It's laughing with someone new and not feeling guilty for enjoying it. It's driving past the bus stop without stopping. That's the real ending. Not some dramatic showdown. Not some poetic justice. Just peace. And maybe that's the most powerful revenge of all. Not proving her wrong, but proving to myself that I never needed her in the first place.